From sunny Southern California, this is the Executive Housekeeper 101 from HousekeepingRehab.com. Here now is your Executive Housekeeper, Abel Josephson.
And you are back. Hello! Welcome back to the Executive Housekeeper 101. My name is Abel Josephson, and I help bring instruction and enlightenment to brand new executive housekeepers, people who are maybe supervisors now, but they want to be an executive housekeeper and they wonder how it's all put together. When I started, I was fascinated by how all of these different departments produced an award-winning product. The Lost and Found program, people bring stuff to the hotel, all kind of stuff. You look in a Lost and Found department, you're gonna see socks, one sock they left behind, a tie, enormous amounts of cell chargers and cell phone accessories, all kind of crazy stuff, scarves, combs, brushes. And so it's one of the first things that I do when I get into a new department is I go and I look at the Lost and Found, the program as they have it or have been operating with it, and I've found a lot of similarities. So I'm going to talk about some of these similarities. I'm going to talk about the old traditions of Lost and Found and show you what you got to worry about and what you do not have to worry about. Anytime you design a program, you have to remember one thing about design. Any architecture student will tell you this, any artist will tell you this. If it isn't simple, it isn't solved. It must be extremely dirtbag, brown paper bag, first grade, no brain needed, simple. Why? Because you have many different departments that are going to operate it. Many different people are going to have their hands in it. So the more simple that it is, the better. Before we begin any of this, I want to remind you that there's a little placard on the back of your guest room door. Most hotels have this little framed placard on the back of their door. It is the Innkeeper's laws that have been established in your state. One of the rules that protects us, and you should know what's on that little card, because a lot of times people blame you for stuff that is simply not your responsibility, and Lost and Found items, that's one of them. The Innkeeper's law in my state states this: we are not responsible for lost or stolen articles. Now that's hard and cold, and that's the state of the affairs that we have to contend with. But at the same time, as the executive housekeeper, you're gonna do whatever you can to take care of the guest, and that includes Lost and Found articles. There's a quick and easy, very streamlined way to do it. So what happens? Somebody finds a Lost and Found item. What do they usually find? Cell charger. So you're gonna have the room attendant or the lobby attendant, whoever finds it, and you have to educate front desk how to do this. You have to educate the engineering department. This is rule number one with me. This is something I'm very strict on, very pragmatic about. The very second that you find a Lost and Found item, you bring it to the director of housekeeping during the day, or you bring it to the supervisor who is on duty in housekeeping if I'm not in the office. It is brought down immediately. There is no waiting. There is no putting it on the maid's cart and then having it float around from cart to cart and being put in a maid's closet and then being brought down later. Hey, I found a cell charger. Where did it come from? I don't know. Who turned it in? I don't know. See what I mean? I mean the second that somebody finds something, it's brought down, we have a slip. We want the person that found the item to put their name. I want to know who to give it to if it's not claimed, the date that it was found, the room number or location, and then I want a brief description: cell charger, blouse, pair of black pants, sweater, notebook. I just need something basic. And then we have these paper bags. I buy these. Isn't that colorful? So festive. Housekeeping, festive. We order these from your cleaning supply house, or you can get them from American Hotel Register, get a lot of this kind of stuff. Come to find out, the cheapest price was from the same guy I get my floor stripper from the cleaning supply house, right? It's just a brown paper bag, same kind of bag you would put a sandwich and an apple, you know, that your kid needs for his lunch, right? You hand it to him and he goes off, he goes, great. It's just a brown paper bag. It's really important. Why? It has a flat bottom. so I can set it on a shelf. Ding dong with you and the flat bottom sacks. You're king of the world, I tell you. All right, so we're gonna take the charger, we're gonna put it in the bag. We're gonna fold the bag over so it's small and not bulky. And we're gonna put our little ID tag with the name of who found it, the location, the date that it was found, and a brief description right there where anybody can hold the bag and see what it is. Somebody says, well, I like a clear bag so I can see it. Why do you need that? Put it on the tag. And then we're gonna take our stapler and we're gonna staple it. There it is. When you go into my closet, all of these bags are placed one after the other in front of each other in chronological order. You know, everything's put in order by date. So when I go in to look for a lost and found item, I just start looking at tags. Okay, that's November 5th. Okay, no, this was October 9th, so I go back. Okay, there's October 9th. Hey, look, I have your stuff. I open it up while I'm on the phone with the guy. It's a black cell charger, right, with a Motorola label on it. Yeah, that's it. All right, then I get his information. I send it to him through his FedEx account number.
Do not offer multiple shipping options. Pick one and let the guest use the one that you picked. Use the same guest address for the shipping address and the return address. Do not use your hotel as a return address. The shipping vendor will have the guest telephone number. If there's any problem with the shipping, they will call the guest and work it out. Your shipment will be delivered successfully.
That way what? This never comes back to me. I want things to leave the hotel. I got enough to do, enough stuff to put in my storage. I want this stuff gone. All right, that's how we tag them and bag them. Then, all right, so I have a notebook. It's the log. And all we do is we open it up and there's a sheet there and we just go to the next line available and we mark down the date, today's date, and we mark down what was found, when it was found, where it was found, all the stuff goes into the logbook. That just stays in the main office by the company computer where the supervisors come and go and run reports. It just stays there in a little area, right? So when I get a call, I'm missing something, I go to the notebook, I open it up, and I go to the day of the general, few days when they were here, or their checkout date, and I look and see if anything is logged in. Because if it's not in this notebook, it's not in the lost and found closet. Now, if they make a mistake, they don't put it here, I'm still gonna go while the guy's on hold, go and look and see if it's in the closet. I have it or I don't, and if I do have it, then I go in, before I tell the guy I have it, I go and verify we have it, right?
Never tell a guest that you have a lost item simply because you see it written in your logbook. Mistakes can happen. Hold the object in your hand, then confirm with the guest that you actually have it.
I go back to the closet and I pull the bag out and I say, Mr. Johnson, you've got a cell phone with a Motorola label. It's black. You left it in room 305, right? Okay, it's all verified. All right, so here's what we do. We take this and we put it in the FedEx, UPS, or USPS envelope. We fill it out from him to him, his name from, his name to, his address from, his address to. So important. I'm telling you, when you start doing this, you're gonna be, oh my God, it's great. And we're gonna send it off to him, right? This is just so simple. And then we're just gonna mark on the notebook, Abel on the, 9th of December, I verified and sent this off. USPS, check, whatever. We're done. It's so simple. That's the process.
Lost and found business only occurs during the standard business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. You will handle all callbacks and shipping, or you lose quality control.
There's a cardinal sin in lost and found, and I'm going to explain to you what the cardinal sin is, and I'm going to explain why you never want to commit this sin. Never, 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 never call a guest after they've checked out and let them know that you have a lost and found item that was left in the room after they departed. All right, let me paint the story for you. Got your phone ready? Because we're gonna call somebody. You've decided it's a great idea to be the knight in shining armor, the do-gooder, right? The champion of care and affection for your guest. You think it's a good idea to call the guest after they've departed and tell them, hey, we found a hairdryer in your room. So you get your little phone out and you call Mr. Johnson. Today we were cleaning your room and we found a hairdryer in your room. What? You didn't bring a hairdryer to the hotel? Well, we found one. Okay, right there. It's a problem. He didn't bring the hairdryer. He's bald, he tells us. What happened is that a previous guest left a hairdryer in the room. And then when they cleaned the room, before Mr. Johnson checked in at 3 p.m., they didn't notice the hairdryer. And then after Mr. Johnson checks out, the next day they're cleaning the room and they see the hairdryer. It's from the previous guest. He feels like he's been sort of accused of something, and he's like, what's going on? I didn't bring a hairdryer, I'm bald. So he feels something's a little funky. It leaves a bad feeling in him about your property. If he wants his hairdryer, whether he's bald or not, he should call and see if he can get that from you. Then we'll identify that we have it if we do. All right, here's the next one. You're gonna be a great customer service oriented executive housekeeper, and you call Mr. Johnson on his phone because you found a pair of red ladies undergarments. Show the undergarments. That's right, you found a pair of ladies red undergarments in Mr. Johnson's room after he checked out. You went in to clean it in the morning and oh, look, there's some red ladies undergarments. Show the ladies undergarments at this time. You pick up the phone, and you're waiting for Mr. Johnson to pick up the phone. And, oh, what, huh? A lady answers the phone. Mrs. Johnson, hi, this is the knight in shining armor, do-gooder, executive housekeeper, just showing how much I care about our guests. And listen, when Mr. Johnson checked out this morning, when we were cleaning the room, we found a pair of ladies' red undergarments. What? You didn't stay at the hotel? Oh no, we got a problem. Oh, Mr. Johnson didn't stay in a hotel? He's in town with you? Oh, y'all live local. Oh, he was playing golf with his friend Ralph yesterday. I have a Mr. Johnson at a local address, was checked in yesterday. Let me look after this, and apparently we've made a mistake. Okay, but that's not the end of the story, sports fans. Mrs. Johnson gets in touch with Mr. Johnson and wants to know why the hotel had his local address information, knew what time he checked in, that he checked in at 3 o'clock and checked out at 9:30 p.m. So he was what we call day use. Day use. Used it for the day, then left. Didn't spend the night. We go in the next morning and we clean it up. Of course, we found the ladies' red undergarments. We now expose something that causes a tremendous problem between your guest, Mr. Johnson, and his wife. This is where it hurts you. Mr. Johnson is now in trouble with his wife and has to go look for a hotel to stay there for the night because she's kicked him out. Show the picture of Mr. Johnson. Do you think Mr. Johnson is going back to your hotel? No, he's not going back. So you have destroyed the potential for repeat business. Remember, Mr. Johnson is a day use. It's none of your business why he's at the hotel. You have now ruined what could be a great and prosperous business relationship with your guest, Mr. Johnson. You could be getting one room added to your occupancy and your numbers. You could get that day use once a week, 4 times a month, 4, 6, or 7, 8 months, depending on how long he needs day use. So you're affecting your own revenue. Now you think that's crazy? No, every room counts.
How important is a repeat guest? Mr. Johnson reserves a room 1 night per week at an average daily rate of $189. History shows that Mr. Johnson has reserved a room once a week for the last 10 months. Mr. Johnson has been paying about $756 per month for his room nights. If Mr. Johnson continues to reserve rooms through the end of the year, Mr. Johnson will have spent almost $9,072. The executive housekeeper is a deeper soul, always thinking about someone else to make sure everything goes well for them.
Never, ever, ever, never call a guest and tell them that you found something and check on it. You could be doing tremendous damage to people's lives. Seems like a small thing? I just want to give you the big picture, and the big picture helps you understand how to operate in the little picture. All right, here's one. How long do we keep lost and found items? Almost 100% of the time, when I go into a new department and I have to analyze their lost and found, I will find that they have this inordinate fear of getting rid of lost and found items, even though they don't, even though they might remember, we're not responsible for this junk. We can do with it what we want. We didn't bring it here, we didn't leave it. And 90 days is the average of what most people keep it. Now stay with me because I do a different thing. 30 days, that's it. If you left something at my hotel and you don't know you're missing it, 30 days later, you haven't called to complain about it or to ask about it. A couple of things. You either don't need it, you don't know you left it here, or you don't care. So if you don't care, I don't care. 30 days, that's enough, sports fans. Get it out of your hotel. Remember, you want it leaving the hotel. If a guest calls and says, "Where's it go? What do you do with it, dude?" I tell them I donate it. And I don't tell them where I donate it. It's none of their business. I'm not responsible for it. I tell them it's all donated to charities. What's the charity? Carmencita, who found it on the pool deck. Dave, who picked it up in the main lobby. Engineering guy Carlos, who found it on the 3rd floor by the little bench outside the elevator. I donate it to their charitable cause. They may have it. If they don't, I throw it away. Sometimes I take it if they don't want it. Oh, I like that shirt. I'll take that. I've got some really nice Armani ties, right? Some nice ties from the lost and found. Now some other stuff. Sometimes they want to interview the lady or the man that cleaned their guest room when they left. No, that's all I'm gonna say. Nobody interviews your employees but you, or the general manager, or security, or HR. Guests never have contact in any form or fashion with your employees. End of story. Let's move on. Do not keep a box of chargers that have been there for a year. So in case a guest who didn't bring their cell phone charger comes down and says, "Hey, do you have any lost and found items? You might have some chargers that fit my charger." Absolutely do not do this. Why? Front desk is gonna have to call housekeeping and say, "Do you have any chargers?" A supervisor's got to come down, or I got to stop my meeting with the general manager or whatever's going on. Go see if I can find a charger. Don't put yourself in that position. The answer is clear. No, we don't have chargers. We don't do that. All right, here's another little quick parameter that you want to consider when you're doing this. You do not catalog or log into your lost and found obscene materials. I do not keep pornography in my lost and found. I don't want anybody to have access to it. If you left that in the hotel and somebody calls because you lost it, I take all the calls. That's another thing. Executive housekeeper, only one that takes lost and found calls. If they call front desk, it's put through to my voicemail if I'm not in the office that day. And they're explaining to these people, only the executive housekeeper handles this. It's very important to me. He oversees everything personally. This is just good language, right? Good script for people, builds their confidence. I tell them straight up, yes, I'm aware that that was left in the room. We discard all pornographic materials. I'm not keeping that stuff in my hotel. I'm not subjecting employees who may come back later and say, he made us, be exposed to that stuff. I tell the people, discard it. Real simple. Do not keep a used bar of soap. They brought their own bar of soap. It's wet. Put it in a plastic trash bag and bring it down and log it in. I don't think so. Why would I keep a half a tube of toothpaste? You see, common sense, or your lost and found closet's just gonna pile up with all kind of stuff they'll never call for. Just things to think about. But you can do what you want to do if you want to keep all that stuff. Okay, let's go beer and alcohol. We do keep beer and alcohol if it is closed. If it's been opened at all, we discard it. We do not send back alcohol in the mail or FedEx. A lot of states you can't send it across the line. I give all the canned beer and the bottles of wine. I give them to food and beverage. A lot of times if it's a beer we sell in the mini bars, they'll put it right back in the mini bars. We'll sell it, no problem. Recycle it through the restaurant, give it to them. Employees do not take alcohol to their home from the hotel. It's not smart. Certain liabilities, it's a best practice.
Okay, what do you do when a lost and found item has been held in your department for 30 days?
I mentioned donating it to housekeepers. Every day if something's pulled out after 30 days, it's set in the housekeeping main meeting area. It's just a bag, it's got their name on it. We let them know, hey, you got lost and found. If you want it, take it. If you don't, we're gonna throw it away. The rule is that the day it's given back to you, it must leave property that day. I'm not gonna sit here and hold it for a housekeeper or front desk agent. You want it or you don't. You realize this stuff just stacks up in the department. I don't have time for it, neither do you, executive housekeeper. If you want it, here it is. If it's here in the morning, I'm throwing it away myself. Sometimes they leave it, they don't want it, so I throw it away. Or I keep it, or I give it to somebody that does want it. I get it going. One time, I had a lady accuse us of, stealing. They always accuse the housekeepers as thieves in the night. She accused me of accused us that a housekeeper stole her purse that had like $2,000 in it. And she said, I put it on the floor before I left the room, between the wall and the curtains where they came down to the floor. I put it back there to hide it. And I know it was there. And when I came back, it was gone. We go check, it's not there. It's not logged into the book. There's not a bag on it. There's not a tag on it. There's none of this stuff. I informed the lady, we do not have it. And she raises hell with me. Okay, I get it. Let me do this. Let me ask you, when did you leave the room that night? We left the room at about 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and we went to where? Church? No, to the club, or the disco and the drinking and the dancing, baby. We came home late, $2,000 in cash. What starts out as $50 ends up being $2,000, and 4 Rolex watch, gold plated, jewel encrusted, you know. So I run a lock interrogation, have the security come, we put the machine on the lock, we find out what keys went into that lock, and the time that she gives me, between 8 p.m. and 1 a.m. or 4 a.m. when they got in, nobody from housekeeping, nobody in the hotel went into that room, right? You're gonna have to get involved in some of that sometimes. You're gonna have to go the extra mile and go the extra mile. You wanna know for sure. Look, if you've got a trend, stuff's missing, you wanna pay attention to that stuff too. You get it. Lost and found, keep it 30 days, bring it down immediately, log it in. We're not responsible for lost or stolen articles. Get that in your little soft skull full of mush.
The hotel and hospitality industry is a type of entertainment and a form of show business. Thanks for visiting the Executive Housekeeper 101 with Abel Josephson from housekeepingrehab.com.